What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more punk rock, and we're back with a reaction to a band I have yet reacted to. I've never been a huge follower of NOFX, and that's not because I'm a huge propaganda guy and, sort of had a falling out with Fat Mike. It's not about that. It's just that by the time that I started listening to NOFX, it was after I had started listening to a number of other bands, especially some bands that, really got their start in the early 80s, like Subhumans and Bad Religion and so on. So when I encountered NOFX, I liked it. The sound wasn't quite like, oh my god, like I need to get everything they've done. I had a couple friends who were into them and had some of their other albums like Ribbed and Liberal Animation and what's the Heavy Petting Zoo. Holy crap, see, yeah, we got fireworks going on outside even though it's like a week away from July 4th because I guess people want to set off things that explode. Very telling about humanity, no. But like I said, I just never got super into them. But the one album that I remember hearing that was like, you know what, there's enough good songs in there that I'm going to buy that was Punk in Drublic. What am I saying? It's the joke, right? And I think where's the album? I have it somewhere up here. I don't remember. Surely some of you can see it and you're like, bro, it's right over there. Regardless, I do enjoy this album a lot, but one of the songs that really made me decide I had to buy it is the one we're going to listen to. It's called Lori Meyers, with guest vocals by Kim Shattuck, or Kim Shattuck. I think it's Shattuck. R.I.P. She's the lead singer of the Muffs. I think she died in 2019. Maybe it was 2017. I think it might have been 2017. It was a few years ago, basically, and I believe her, passing was mourned by many people in the punk rock community. But I really enjoy her vocals in this. I think it's a very interesting song lyrically. So to give you the heads up, it's a two-part song. We hear two sides of the same story. Which is always interesting when songs do that, right? What was that song that was sort of like a melancholic pop hit by Gautier, a person that I used to know? It sort of has that feel a little bit, but it starts with Mike singing, and he's talking about, he grew up and in his neighborhood there was this girl who was like his age, so they were always hanging out, and she used to come over to his place and play and whatever, and when they were young they had their first like sexual experiences with each other. They played forbidden games and so on. So it's a girl that he knew and he grew up with. So then fast forward to him being an adult, and I don't think he talks about being in a band per se, but it seems pretty clear that this is something from someone's life. I'm presuming Fat Mike, although I don't know that for sure. But later on, or I should just say later on is, the on is redundant, you don't need it there. Regardless, he encountered some pornography. I don't know if it's supposed to be like oh that's right, it's a magazine or some scenes in a video, but he saw a familiar mark on someone that was like, wait, that, this girl that I knew back in the day, I think she had that birthmark or whatever, and so he realizes it's this girl that he used to know who's now, working as a sex worker to some extent. It's not really clear, but basically he reaches out and he finds her and he basically says, hey, look, we used to know each other. I have a decent job. I'm, working these days. I can help you get out of this. Would you like my help in getting out of this? And then the sort of song takes a quick, like, musical interlude and fires back in, and we hear the vocals of Kim Shattuck, and she speaks for Lori Meyers, and she basically says, like, number one, you don't know me anymore. You don't know, like, the life that I've been living. And, you think I'm debasing myself. You think I'm selling myself? No, I'm selling my time. And if you really want to know what it's like to be exploited and debased, well, then you should go to the factory where I worked before this and where people told me what the fuck to do all the time and probably made sexist comments and gave me crap assignments and whatever and didn't let me get promoted, and I maybe wasn't paid equally. And so she just makes the case that, like, again, you don't know what's going on in my life. You don't know where I've been to get here. And the reality is, this is less exploitative than what I was doing before. And the $50K that I made this year is going to go anywhere I please. So what the fuck is your problem? You don't know me. So I always was just fascinated by this song because, again, it's rare when a song, you know, not just in punk rock, but in a lot of songs, it's usually like one perspective, or even if it's more than one perspective, it might be like pushing in the same direction to tell the same lesson or story. But this is another one where we get both sides of it, and it's up to the listener to sort of, you know, come to an understanding about where a valid perspective might be, or, you know, if both sides maybe have like legitimate points. So yeah, that's where I think this song is. Again, I'm not sure whose anecdotal history we're getting here, or maybe it could be, you know, a made-up story to sort of articulate an idea. I'm not sure of the truth of that. Let me know if someone does have information in that regard. Nevertheless, let's get to it. This is NOFX from their Punkin' Drublic album, which is 1994 on Epitaph. Shout out to Gerwitz and the Epitaph label. But yeah, this is Lori Meyers. By the way, to my mind, the most like rip-roaring, fucking rocking tune on the album musically.
Lori Meyers used to live upstairs. Our parents had been friends for years. Almost every afternoon we'd climb up and dance. At 9 years old, there's no such thing. It wasn't recognition of her face. We're coming back.
No.
What's up, familiar pocket? It flaps across the screen. I bought some magazines, some videotapes, scenes, and criminals.
I thought that I could sing. So what does she say to that? Listen to these vocals. It on the floor at the factory where I would work before.
I took control, now I answer to me. Busy chaos, make this here. We'll go anywhere I please. Where's the problem?
The song feels a little more serious than a lot of NOFX. A lot of NOFX has some comedy. It's like, whether it's, you know, just some funny lines or like a part where it really changes the mood, this one is just fucking hard. I'm now remembering a conversation I had a long time ago with one of my girlfriends at the time, and she was like, I think that's at the time she was called Brody Armstrong. I forget her like real like surname, or you know, her surname after she was no longer married to Mr. Armstrong. But yeah, she was like, I think that's who it is. And like, even though I didn't really know the Muffs catalog, I was like, no, I think her name is Kim, like whatever. And then, you know, later I read more information about her. I think it was after she passed, and I was just like, oh, you know, I need to do a little bit of a deep dive and learn more about her. But yeah, like I said, I believe she was, you know, well respected for her vocals within the punk rock community, and you know, her work with the Muffs. So yeah, R.I.P. to Kim Shattuck, and you know, big ups to Fat Mike and the crew for this song. I really find it to be interesting, and it explores an interesting space where maybe the most valid and personal perspective is not exactly clear, or rather, you know, a valid point may be valid to one person and like it's a legitimate point, but in another person's personal situation, maybe it's not as relevant. Maybe, you know, it's even counter to their experiences. So I do find the lyrical tension of this one interesting. So let me know what you think. Let me know if there's another one on here that you'd like to react to. I feel like for a lot of people, The Bruise is the tune on this one that everyone remembers, because it's just very catchy and it has that like oi kind of sing-along quality. But yeah, maybe I'll come back for that one at some point. But this one is the one that I really wanted to do, because I do think this is the best song on the album. But yeah, let me know what you think. Other than that, thank you for watching and listening. I do appreciate it. Have a good day, have a good night. I'll see you next time.